So, before this video begins, I just want to point out a couple things. Yes, there is no game audio because in my head I was thinking, Minecraft music is pretty nice to listen to. But unfortunately, it doesn't really go well with me editing the video and there being a music cut every 5 seconds. So, there's some clips of the audio are still there, but not much. But regardless, I hope you guys enjoy the first episode of a brand new hardcore experience. Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, and welcome to my brand new hardcore series. This time it's going to be a little bit different. So this style of hardcore video is going to be post-commentary over the various stuff that I do in this video. It's a new style that I haven't really done before, but I hope it goes well nonetheless. So as you can see, early game is usually what you'd expect. Stone tools at the start, along with a boat, grabbing some coal, and eventually grabbing some iron, I do believe. Yes, I do indeed grab, I believe it's 2 pieces. Yes, there we go. But eventually I head out into the ocean to see if I can find any shipwrecks, and sure enough, I do. And surprisingly, the treasure chest actually didn't have iron, which is like a 20% chance of it not generating for iron. But I do grab some other supplies which will eventually be useful. Grab a boat chest to store my items and head out towards the buried treasure location. In the distance, I spot a surface lava pool and also a ruined nether portal, which ended up having some obsidian, some iron, a lodestone, a clock. Now here what I do is I use the chunk trick by going 9 and 9 on the block data in F3, and I locate the buried treasure just like that, which had the iron that I needed to craft some shears, a bucket, and then I pull up the pie chart by turning on tick, level entities, and then block entities to try to see if there's any useful blocks around. Just a chest, trial, vault, and ruins. And here I spot a brown sheep, only ended up giving me 2 brown wool. So I waited around until the sheep grew back its wool. And I waited for a long time. Unfortunately, didn't end up growing its wool. So I decided the safe option for the night, since I didn't have a bed, was to go out towards the ocean. And on the block data, I see a bell on the pie chart, which means that there is a village nearby where the sheep was. I explore the coral reef and along the edges of the desert, opening F3 for the pie chart, and I spot a desert temple in the distance, as you saw right there. So I decided to kill some spiders until it became daytime. Killed another spider, and then I headed into the desert temple. Very risky, but I managed to disable the TNT, and the loot was alright for what it was. Got a diamond and actually ended up getting 2 respiration 3 books. Used the string to craft the needed wool to grab a bed, and down there below I see a drown with a trident and did my best to avoid him. Now here I found a glitched treasure map. I did find coast armor trim, and I located another treasure chest in the shipwreck, this time with iron. Killed an enderman, like so. And then I headed back to where the brown sheep was, since I was able to locate a bell, and sure enough, I find the village in the distance. Since it was getting nighttime, I slept, made a hoe, grabbed some hay bales for food, and I ended up finding Acacia Village Blacksmith, which is a rare house to find in the savannah, and I ended up finding a bundle, which is going to be super helpful. Grabbed a smithing table, grabbed a lectern, for various uses later on, I imagine. Ended up killing the iron golem here, but I did speed it up since it is kind of boring. Like so. And I ended up grabbing the bell, so that way if I wanted to find a new village, I wouldn't be detecting the same bell in the village that I just looted. And here I decided to set up camp by placing torches to light the area up to get rid of monster spawns. Emptied out my inventory, made some food, slept the night, grabbed some gold armor, and here I decided to enter the Nether for the first time to see what the Nether is all about. Because so far the overworld is a pretty good spawn, I would say. So let's see if the Nether presents itself the same thing. And as soon as I enter, a sheep appears in the Nether for some weird reason. Don't know why. And here I locate on the pie a piglin brute, which means a bastion remnant is nearby. So I very cautiously went down to safer ground, and here I lowered my render distance to see how far away the piglin brutes actually were. Had to do this very carefully to know exactly which direction the piglin brutes were, but eventually I found out that it would be in the eastern direction, as I'm pointing with the sword right there. So I went around the terrain to see if I could find it, but for some reason the bastion was not visible in sight. Lit TNT, grabbed some blocks, so that way I could traverse the Nether easier. And I ended up backtracking back to where I was to go around the terrain on the other side to see if I could find the bastion. And here, this is where two ghasts started causing me problems. But eventually I did end up sending a fireball right back at the ghast, as you can see right there. And I got to obtain the brand new music disc, since I am playing in the most recent version. So since I couldn't find the bastion over in the other area, I decided to go back, found a warped forest, made a marker so that way I could find my way back, killed some endermen, and did the pie chart trick again, only to find that piglin brutes were not on the pie chart, which means I had gone past the bastion. But sure enough, at 3 chunk render distance, I found piglin brutes and decided to go in the canyon, and sure enough, after blocking up some lava, I found the bastion. And I decided that was a good way to end off the first session of hardcore. Now day 2 rolled around in IRL time, of course, and I found out that this was a stables bastion, considering the layout of the bastion itself, and that there was a good number of hoglins to take out. Not to also mention that there also were piglin brutes roaming around, of course. So I ended up either spleefing them, grabbed chests when I knew it was safe to do so, dumped lava on any nearby hoglins and piglin brutes that I can see, as you can see, very easy to get rid of. Ended up finding my first piece of ancient debris and a smithing template. Very useful stuff right there. Killed another piglin brute. Found some gold blocks in this chest, which will be very helpful later on. Found my first diamond pickaxe, but I do believe in the next chest I find one with mending, which is really good. End up finding a gold block. Block this corridor off. Killed the hoglins at the top with lava. Blocked any corridors off that I felt were unsafe. Looted this chest, which ended up having the bastion smithing template. Very helpful stuff. And I ended up finding one of the rooms which has gold in it. So I dug up the gold to eventually use it for bartering. Then I started to pillar up to the top of the bastion where the double chests were located. Although since this thing is practically buried in netherrack, it ended up taking me a while to actually find it. Found a brew, and I did end up finding a chest which had soul speed 3, but here is where I found the upper deck. What I like to call the upper deck anyways, the place where it has the double chests. Chests were pretty decent. Found some arrows, a crossbow, a lot more arrows, and a diamond shovel. And another piece of ancient debris, some iron and obsidian. Like I said, very useful stuff early game. Another gold block, and whenever I saw more piglin brutes that were trapped in the netherrack, I ended up just killing them. So that way I could locate other bastions without tracking back to this one. Found another small room with a piglin brute in it, which is also another place with backup gold blocks. Blocked myself in, and then mined the gold blocks to my heart's content. Then I ended up going back towards the stables part of the stables bastion, and to start setting up a bartering 1x2 hole for the piglins to go into, to try to get stuff like ender pearls and fire resistance. Here I tried to track a mob spawner to try to find another fortress. Didn't end up seeing one, so I decided to go back towards my nether portal, and here I actually ended up finding a mob spawner. But I decided to make a quick stop back at the base to unload my inventory to save space. Crafted another bundle to store more bartering resources. Took about half the gold blocks I had currently owned, gave it all to the piglins, and started picking up stray gold blocks. Ended up getting some ender pearls, as you saw right there, but my inventory was easily getting cluttered again. Threw some more gold in to try to get some more blocks. Ended up finding a chest which I didn't loot in the first raid of this bastion, which is funny enough. Ended up getting another pearl trade, which is really good. But unfortunately, I only ended up getting one potion of fire resistance, but I actually did end up getting some happy dried ghast blocks, which is a new trade from the piglins. Ended up killing a ghast right there. Then this is where I decide to scout to try to find the nether fortress. Now the only thing that I was worried about was if was in a soul sand valley, then the mob rates were going to be extremely dangerous. As you can see over in the distance, it's a lot of mobs. So I quickly made my way back. Well, this is going to be a problem. Because then here, as soon as I get out into the overworld, a phantom spawns. I kill it, obviously. And then I start dumping some more resources in. Gave even more gold to the piglins to try to get at least one more potion of fire resistance. But unfortunately, none was available. So I decided to explore the inside of the bastion to see if I could find even more gold blocks. I ended up finding one, dealt with the piglins, and then mined up the gold block. Now the chances of me getting fire resistance from this were very slim, and didn't end up getting it. Now we're on day 3, and this is where I decided one potion of fire resistance was all that's gonna have to do, since I was slowly running out of gold and I didn't have any other options left. So I quickly stashed some ender pearls away. Ended up having 12 total, which is really good from just killing stray endermen and piglin trades. Now this was the scary part. Going to another fortress with only one potion of fire resistance. Ended up getting some chainmail boots from that skeleton that I just killed. So I ended up killing the first blaze. No blaze rod. Second blaze, no blaze rod. So the rates were not looking good. And especially since I only had 3 minutes of fire resistance. Ended up finding a chest with only horse armor. Mined up some nether warts so that way I could brew potions of fire resistance. And as you can see, no fire resistance right there. Ended up locating the blaze spawner, but since it was out in the open, I decided not to go for it. Ended up finding a second nether wart room. Killed a third blaze. No blaze rod. Fourth blaze. Same thing. Fifth blaze. Same thing. Dude, what are the odds? And finally, the sixth blaze ended up dropping a blaze rod. Finally. So, ended up killing a lot more blaze. Blaze rod rates were starting to look up. Killed a stray enderman. Unfortunately, did not get an ender pearl. Here I get set on fire, and this is where I got the lowest amount of health so far in this world. So things were not looking good. Blaze rod rates were not looking good. The food was okay, I guess. But here I pick up another blaze rod, get ambushed by a bunch of blazes over to the left, and ended up getting my final blaze rod. I'm out. I'm out. Get me out of here. Oh my gosh, that was scary. I just need to get 4 more ender pearls, and then I'm good to go to the stronghold. So after the nether fiasco, I emptied out my inventory, crafted an extra boat, planted some nether wart down, then started heading toward the war forest to kill endermen. After killing a bunch of endermen, 7 pearls, I threw my first Eye of Ender. After preventing a forest fire, looting a ruined nether portal, mining a single gold block from it, located that the stronghold was behind me, and started digging down towards it. Although, I did end up finding a surprise while I was digging down. So I stumbled across a cave, and in the distance I could see a dungeon, which was really interesting, so I decided to loot it. Ended up getting 2 more music discs in this hardcore session, but then I went back to digging and found the stronghold. Looted the first chest, already really good loot, armor trim and ender pearl, blocked off sections that had dead ends, and then found the portal room. In here, I decided to block off the entryway since it was pretty open. Built the portal, took the coordinates and lit it so I could build the nether side of it, although I did worry that the nether portal would generate on the nether side due to items going through it, as you saw there. And here, I've dug up and started fighting the dragon. The most satisfying moment if I were to successfully beat the dragon in hardcore Minecraft. Successfully took out all the obsidian towers, and now it was time to deal damage to the dragon. Although I found out that as soon as it perched, it was a short flight dragon, where the dragon doesn't spew out dragon's breath and just flies away after a short time. But slowly and surely, after dwindling the dragon's health, I finally managed to defeat it. But before I left, I grabbed the dragon egg and teleported back home. And a lot of people may think that this is the end of the progression for hardcore Minecraft, but for me, it was just the beginning. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this hardcore video. Let me know in the comments about this sort of style, and I will see you guys for episode 2. See you guys then.